All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So today I've got something a little bit different. I'm sure everyone has seen the Dimir Blue-Black Fairies list. So I wanted to try something a little bit different, and this deck has actually been doing pretty well for me so far. Played a lot of games last night just to test it, and came out with a pretty positive win rate. So here's what we got so far. So starting from the beginning, we have 3 copies of Elspeth's Smite. I went with Elspeth's Smite because I wanted something easy to cast in the early game when you're playing against opposing aggressive lists with mono red or soldiers. I've been seeing a lot of those two decks lately. So Elspeth's Smite is in here not just for those matchups, but also to play against black or black-green. They like to play a lot of the Adventure Knight and Underdog. And a good way to nip that in the bud is to have a spell effect that is going to exile the creature, not just kill it. So Elspeth's Smite, pretty good option for this deck. Then we have 4 copies of Sleep Cursed Fae. The reason I'm running 4 copies in here is because I want to maximize the chance I'm going to be able to play this on turn 1. Because this card is a surprisingly efficient beater. Like, sure, you don't get to attack with it for the first few turns, but that's also why we're running 4 of them, because we want to get it out as quickly as possible so it can start untapping and start swinging. So, also the fact that it has Ward 2 is surprisingly strong. It's like your opponents are going to have to devote a lot of mana to kill this 1-drop. So, honestly, with this pretty much outperforms, like, any other, like, turn 1 play for you, just because of the fact that your opponent is going to have to pay so heavily to deal with this 1 creature. Then we have 2 copies of Invasion of Gobekon. This I put in here because I wanted something to mess up my opponent's plays, as well as giving me protection for my board. And this is a great way to go about it. A lot of people have moved into playing the White Virtue, because you can play it to create a creature, and then later on play the enchantment side to get the +1/+1 counters. This one comes online a lot faster, mostly because you play it for just 2, and then knock it out immediately with the Sleep Cursed Fairy, as soon as you have an opportunity to attack with it at least. Then we have 4 copies of Ossification. Probably the best white removal that we can play right now. It's just really, really strong. We have 3 copies of Fairy Mastermind. Great because it's flash. It draws you cards when your opponent draws extra cards. And also, the fact that it has flash means that you can play this in response to an opponent playing a draw spell. So you can just actually get a free extra card just by playing this at the right time. So we're running 3 of those. For counter magic, we're running 2 copies of Make Disappear and 4 copies of Spell Stutter. Effectively do about the same thing. So you're not going to be needing a whole lot of like really hard counter magic with a deck like this. These options right here are more than enough to mess with your opponent's plays, especially when you combine them with an effect like of Invasion of Gobekon. You use its front phase to take a look at your opponent's hand and make one of those cards cost 2 more. And then when they finally get around to casting it, you can just stutter it. Next, we're running 3 copies of Quick Study. For 3 mana, drawing 2 cards with no drawback whatsoever, and no discard or anything like that, it seems like a pretty good option. So I'm running this as a 3 of right now, just to see how I like it. And so far, it's been doing well. Then we have 3 copies of the Wandering Emperor. Well, we're playing white. We're playing a slower, more mid-range style deck, so we're going to be probably wanting a couple copies of this. And also, it also works as a really good way to, if your opponent's not coming at you with anything and you have some breathing room, and you also have Invasion of Gobekon out, you can just end a turn, make a Samurai. On your turn, do the +1 to make the Samurai a 3/3 with first strike, and knock out the invasion. I've done it multiple times already. It's a pretty strong play. Then we have 2 copies of Threadbind Click. Now, this one is a little bit interesting. I'm kind of leaning into the adventures with this deck, and the Threadbind Click actually works really well. Because the first half of it, Rip the Seams, for 2 and a white, instant adventure, destroy target tapped creature. That's not a difficult thing to pull off. A lot of your opponents are going to be coming at you aggressively, so having this as an option to kill a key creature, and then on the following turn, just play out the 3/3 is pretty strong. And also we have the Twinning Twins. I really like this card a lot. For both halves, actually. The Swift Spiral part allows you to save a creature. If your opponent finally gets around to actually killing your Sleep Cursed Fairy or your Fairy Mastermind or any of the other creatures that you're playing, you can just go, boop, it's out. And we'll see it next turn. Or if your opponent tries to play like a sweeper, or if your opponent tries to play, or actually if your opponent is playing like offensive creatures that you don't want on the table for a turn, you can just blink that out too. You can choose a creature that's not your own with this. It's a really versatile spell, so I like it a lot. And then for Twinning Twins' actual creature half, for 4 mana, you get a 4/4 Flying Vigilance Ward 1. It's basically a strictly better Serra Angel. So that gets an include in here. And then last we have the Horned Lockwhale. For 4 colorless and 2 blue, you get a 6/6 Flash Ward 2. There's a lot of ward in this deck. Horned Lockwhale enters the battlefield tapped unless it's your turn. So you can, end of turn, just flash this into play and then untap and swing with it. And its adventure side is honestly the real reason this card's in here, because most games end before you even have the mana to cast the Horned Lockwhale. So, Lagoon Breach, 1 and a blue, instant adventure. The owner of target attacking creature you don't control puts it on top or bottom of their library. So, 2 mana to just permanently get rid of something, or stifle your opponent's next draw, because a lot of the time they're just going to want to put that card back on top of their library instead of the bottom and draw a fresh card. So, this is what we're running with for today. It's pretty effective. It's like mana cost wise, it's pretty low to the ground, with like the highest cost being like the Twinning Twins and the Threadbind Click. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It runs a lot of disruption. It runs a lot of removal, and most of the time, you are winning games straight up off the back of Sleep Cursed Fairy. So that's going to be it. Let's go ahead and take it out there and see what we can do. Okay, so we're looking at a Threadbind Click to Wandering Emperor. This is not a very good start. So we want something that has a little bit more action. So let's mulligan this. Okay, that is quite a bit better. So we'll send back the Quick Study, and we'll keep the rest. Keep 6, send that back, done. All right, looks like we get to go first. So we're going to start with the Seachrome Coast and put a Sleep Cursed Fairy on the table. Now, Sleep Cursed Fairy starts with 3 stun counters, but at the end of each turn, we can pay 1 colorless and 1 blue to remove one of those counters. So if they don't do anything this turn, I can just go boop and remove a counter. All right, let's go ahead and do that right now. Activate ability. All right, and now it's lost its last counter. So let's go ahead and play the Broker's Hideout. That's going to go away, and it's going to get us a 2nd white mana. There we go. And next, and end turn. Even though we don't have anything to play, we are holding up blue mana to bluff our opponent into thinking that we have counterspells. So you have a Mirex and 2 planes. So let's see what they try to do. They want to play Kayla's Command, gain 2 life and scry 2, and then they go get a planes. Okay, that's fine. I mean, can't really stop it. Alright, they gain 2 life. Looks like they're still trying to scry. Oh no, they're searching through their deck right now to get the planes. Oh no, they were scrying. Okay, so they did one then the other. Pass. All right, my turn. Done taps. All right, let's go ahead and play the Deserted Beach, and we'll play Invasion of Gobakon. This is perfect timing, by the way. So they got Sigarda's Splendor, Destroy Evil, Tokasia's Welcome, White Sun's Twilight. Okay, so let's go ahead and eliminate the Tokasia's Welcome. Then we will attack right there. Knock it out. It comes back. And at the end of turn, it gives me a +1/+1 counter on the Sleep Cursed Fairy. So now they have the option to try and kill my fairy, but I can also sacrifice this right here to prevent that from happening. Okay, they're going to kill his command again. Interesting. So they're going to search for another planes and also scry. This is also like kind of like a life gain deck as well. Running multiples of Sigarda's Splendor. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go ahead and attack again. End the turn. Get a +1 counter. Say play Sigarda's Splendor. Resolve that. Alright, pass. I'll do this at the end of turn. Make Samurai. Turn. Ooh, Fairy Mastermind is here. Alright, let's go +1 right here. Go next. I'll attack. Okay, so both of those are going to get a +1 counter. I'm just going to play the Iganjo because I don't think they're going to play anything worth me spending that on. So, end turn. Alright, more +1 counters. Resolve that. Yeah, so there's still one off from... Actually, yeah, there's still one off from casting White Sun. But even if they do cast White Sun, I do have this and I can sacrifice it to give them indestructible. Because White Sun is... Let's see. Is it a destroy effect? Yes, it's a destroy effect. Let's see. They have Iganjo, they have Sigarda's Splendor, White Sun, Destroy Evil, and one hidden card. So, just need to see if they're going to do anything. And so far, they have not. Alright, end of your turn. We'll cast Fairy Mastermind. And I'll take my turn. We'll go +1/+1 right here. Then we attack. Assuming they're going to... Oh no, they're going to cast Destroy Evil. Okay. So I'm going to cast Destroy Evil there. Is there anything I can do about that? Yeah. We'll resolve it. Resolve that. Make you pay 2 to play it. Okay. Alright, they paid the 2. Alright, now we activate. And resolve. Probably didn't think I would do that. Okay, so we're looking at 3 counterspells and 2 lands. I don't like it. Alright, that's 3 lands, an Emperor, 2 Fairies, and make disappear. Alright, we'll go ahead and keep 6. Send back the Wandering Emperor. Alright, so we get to go first, that's good. So go Island into Sleep Cursed Fairy. So up against black. So this is going to be a bad time for us. Because they're going to have like 30 different ways to kill your creatures. Mm-hmm. Called it. I have to exile that. Now I can. Yep. It's up to 5 mana. Let's play Cut Down. I'll exile it. An Obliterator, huh? Let's see. Okay. Good thing I have the Threadbind click in my hand. Liliana. That might fuck me. Let's find out. Okay, that's fine. Resolve. And the 3 cards in their hand. Okay. That's not bad. I'm not worried about that so much. So I think we just need to play out all of our creatures and just start swinging. Now, if he goes and just sacrifices that immediately, that would tell us that he was okay. And now he's going to go get Rankle's Prank. Make me sacrifice 2 creatures. That's what I would do at least. Sheldred? That was not the play. Resolve. Pink, pink. That turn. Gain some life. Scorn Blade Berserker. Odd choice. Okay, sure. Mm-hmm. Negative 5/6. Aha! That's what I was waiting for. No blocks. Draw. Another fairy. Resolve. End turn. To draw a card. Pass. Draws a card. Ha! Perfect. Alright. Yeah, draw for turn. Resolve. Play the Archer Wastes. Play Ossification. Target that island. Get rid of Sheldred. And then... Do you have enough mana? No, I do not. So... Well, actually, one of them has Vigilance, so I'm not worried. I always forget the Twins has Vigilance. Hey, we won. Nice. Alright, caster. Let's see what we have. We have 4 lands, an Emperor, Sleeper's Fairy, and Quick Study. I'm willing to try this one out. Our opponent goes first, though, so we get to draw an extra card. Okay. Cute. Well, we got matching fairies. Alright, so it looks like we are playing against Rock again, which is fine. I'm expecting a Sheldred's Edict this turn. I guess not. Oh, they are playing Junk. Let's see. Let's go with one of the mini Adakar Wastes next. Do we cast it now or cast it later? I think we cast it later. Hold up some mana and make them think we have something to do. Topiary Stomper. Okay. Okay, so this is definitely another domain deck. Let's go ahead and play a Plains. God, I don't really have any way to protect my guy. It really sucks. But we need to pretend that we can. That ward only lasts for so long. Okay, he's just going to make a Mirex token. I'm totally fine with that. Alright, my turn. I'm going to cast a Quick Study, draw 2 cards. Hey, there's some protection. Nice. Alright, play this Adakar Waste. Play this Invasion of Gobakon. Got Angel Wrath, Virtue, and Archangel Wrath. I guess we go with the Virtue. Attack there. Cast it. And I say end the turn. I got a couple counter spells to play with, though, so I feel a little bit more safe. Only a little bit, though. Archangel Wrath. Let's see. Now, since you're tapped out, I'm just gonna hit that with the Make Disappear. Might as well attack with the Might at this point. Pass, pass. Alright, you get it. My turn. Play another Adakar Waste. Play a Sleep Cursed Fairy. And end the turn. Alright, Fairy gets a little bit bigger. Alright, wants to cast Sunfall, and we have 2 mana open, so we are going to cast Spell Stutter this time. Pass. Just coming with both. Alright. So in that case, I will pay 2, activate, to untap, pass, block, and my turn. I will play the Broker's Hideout this time, and we'll go get a Plains. Okay. Next, I'll attack, hit for 5, get another +1 counter. I love this card so much. It's so good. Alright, another Archangel. And that gives them 2 mana open. So let's see. Do we counter it? That's the question. No. Let it resolve. Okay. Do you have anything else in your hand to do? I don't think so. Briefcase? Okay. I'll let that resolve. It's not that dangerous. Chaka. Alright, well, I'll activate to get the untap. Go to blocks. Block and kill it. Activate. My turn. Let's go here. We'll play an island. We will activate to untap. And we will attack. Okay. That is perfect. That's just what I wanted from you. End turn. And more +1 counters. So now we are kind of wide open, and they'll probably try and cast something big this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they can cast the enchantment side if they want to. They would not cast the adventure side right now because they wouldn't kill anything. My guys are too big at this point. Okay, so he wants to cast it. Resolve. You're going to be dead before that if thing gets its first trigger. Are you contemplating an attack? You're pretty much empty right now. Please tell me you're not roping me. Yep. I think we're getting roped. All right. I will take my turn now. Thank you. All right. There you go. That's game. Not bad. Not bad. Good job, fairies. All right, so we got our games in, and this is our post-game wrap. Let's talk about the deck a little bit more. So, um, you could probably tell from the games that we play that the real shining star of this deck is the Sleep Cursed Fairy. The Sleep Cursed Fairy into like the Fairy Mastermind or the Invasion of Gobakon. It's a really strong setup. I mean, having counterspell backup, having the exile from Twinning Twins, um, or even a little bit of protection from Wandering Emperor is just it's really solid setup. So I'm pretty happy with that. As far as changes to the deck I might make, I might want to research a little bit better draw than quick study. I mean, it's good and efficient. It's cheap. I got no problems with that. Only thing is like it's just a little boring. I'm not always like super excited to cast it. I actually end up getting more out of just Fairy Mastermind drawing cards for me. So that might be something that we change up in the future. I do want to keep this deck Azorius. I don't want to add black into it. If I were to do that, it would honestly just become a completely different deck. I think the game plan of sticking a hard to kill fairy, hard to block fairy on the board and protecting it until the opponent dies is probably the right game plan here. It's like Sleep Curse Fairy with the Invasion of Gobakon, even if it's just a single fairy beating in every turn with counterspell backup, it's a really solid game plan. It's like it's inevitability. So I think if I'm going to make any kind of changes, it might be going down on one copy of Twinning Twins, or maybe getting rid of that Threadbind click to max out Invasion of Gobakon, and maybe max out Fairy Mastermind as well. But the removal package is pretty sweet. I do really like having so many of these creatures also doubling as removal or quasi removal. It's really solid stuff. It's like I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. So, and I hope you do too. So I will put a link to the deck list in the description box down below, so you can go ahead and try it out yourself if this is something interesting that you might want to sink your teeth into. So, until next time, you take care of yourselves.